Good evening, everybody. The 1st of December, 2021. Bitcoin has continued to chop, not necessarily surprisingly. It was, unfortunate earlier today. We kind of had this false breakout here, and now we're back into the support zone. But like I said last night, I do pretty much view anything in this 55 to 56K area as support still until proven otherwise. Below 55K, I would begin to have my, much more serious concerns about this action for sure. This kind of, very, very choppy sideways action here is not certainly bullish. I'm not going to say that at all. But it is very typical for corrective action, especially after we've seen an extended downward time period for there to be uncertainty enough in the market that the first sign of potential recovery comes along, and we start seeing like rejections from a high. Is pretty typical. I mean, it's a long-term, relatively long-term downtrend here. Basically, the entire month of November, we saw a downtrend, and so the market is certainly questioning, and rightly so, whether or not Bitcoin has the strength to begin climbing up and resuming an uptrend. So that's what we're seeing right now. It's uncertainty in the market of what's going on. This reaction off of the low here was strong enough and formed well enough that I am still leaning towards more upside as long as we hold this green box. Below that, it's still within the realm of possibility that we can go down. As long as we don't break this low, we could break down there and then come back up. It would be extremely annoying for it to do that, but it is within the realm of possibility. But almost certainly below this level here at 53.3 or so. If we fail to hold that, I think it's fairly likely that we are going down to see 40Ks as the end result of that failure, if it does in fact fail. So like I said yesterday, if this created a new low, which it did, then we're basically just looking potentially at a reset of that wave 2, and that may or may not be done yet. If it comes down a little further, we can reset that fib a little bit further down as well, and when that happens, if that happens, we're also resetting this danger zone box here for potential ABC. So we may have, the danger with this is that we're doing A, B, and C up. This is the other reason I lean towards more upside. I don't see a clear ABC right now, and really we should have that. Even if we're going to go down to 40K, we should see something that looks like this, where this leg up is similar in length to this leg up. Doesn't necessarily have to match it exactly, but similar in length enough anyway that we're sort of getting up into this orange box a little bit higher. If that happened and then we rejected and broke down below these lows here again, then 40Ks would be back on the table. But so let's just argue for the sake of argument right now. That's our new low. Let's decide what that looks like. So there's our 2 then. If that is in fact the case, this corrective action has become quite choppy, quite convoluted. Where exactly things lie as far as how to count it is more academic than strictly necessary at this point, but I would say we probably have something along these lines with a WXY flat correction like that. We had sort of ABC within W, we had maybe an ABC up and X there, I don't know, ABC down and Y, basically. Something along those lines is what I would label that as if we do continue upwards from here. And it is well within the realm of possibility. So I've said it before, and I'll say it multiple times in the future, corrective action is the hardest action to anticipate what it's going to do. I did my best here with the support zone, obviously, and that has so far proven to be fairly useful. But it did not mean that we would absolutely come here and then start seeing new highs. It's continuing to chop is certainly within the realm of possibility of corrective action. It is the hardest action, like I said, to predict, and it can take many, many, many forms. So this very well could be just the market shaking people out, scaring them off. We're making new highs and then getting rejected down and making nominally lower lows sort of within this corrective action to stop people out. It's really not strange for it to do that at the beginning of a next bull run either. So anyway, at this point in time, assuming that low holds, we're going to look to 59.3 to 63.1. This orange box right here is the danger zone, like I said, for this to simply be an ABC, and then further downside from there. However, if we are able to press above that orange box, and ideally with this, if we are going to go bullish here, the next move should be a third wave. That should be the strongest wave that we see. We should see a decisive break of that orange box. And this is not going to be a straight line. We're going to see, 5 waves up, of course, but it should be very strong 5 waves, and it should be a decisive break of that orange box without ever going below this low again. Once we break into that orange box, we should not go below whatever low is struck here. But if we're able to do that, the chances, if we can get up here, especially 65.6, the chances of this completing a full 5 waves remain very high then, right? So if we can get up here, it's very unlikely that we go down from there, because that's a completely extended third wave. It's less likely for that to be a C wave instead. So we should then see a little pullback there, and then potentially a final move up here to about 68K or so. Unless one of these waves extends, which is certainly possible. If this goes real bullish, we could see an extension on the third, and then higher for the 5th wave up like that. Certainly possible. So these are just kind of landmarks right now, but and they may change as the action progresses. So that's going to be the bull's best case scenario, though, is decisively breaking the orange box and getting up here to 65ish, 64 to 65. Somewhere in that range would be sufficient to pretty much guarantee that the bottom was in fact already in place here. And then of course after that, once we get these 5 up, we will have a pullback again, and how deep that goes is an open question at this point, but that is the current update as I see it. So let's see what the overnight action brings. We'll see if we hold this green box. If we start breaking down below it, like I said, that would make me worry significantly more for the long-term prospects. And then breaking below 53.3 is kind of the key area. If that continues down and breaks that, then it's probably a good idea on any sort of bounce that we get after that to just get out, because we're likely looking at lower 40Ks in that instance. All right, I think that's pretty much all I can say about that at the time. Hopefully that all made sense. Feel free to message me in the Trade Like a Whale Discord group. If not, always happy to discuss any of these, trading, reading charts and trading aspects and all that sort of stuff in the Discord. All right, good night, everybody.